In this video, I'm going to explain to you in several words why you should avoid Loki Season 2 like the plague. Disney played a losing hand by giving the God of Mischief another go-around after the first season's abysmal character arcs, slow pacing, and girl boss themes. But do these problems persist even now, and how bad have they exactly gotten? Well, take it from a guy who's finished a review for this show 2 episodes before it even ends. It's gotten pretty bad. So fire up your hot cocoa machine and get ready, because now that spooky season is over, we're taking on the very gods. Meow meow! This show is everything that your parents warned you about every night before bed as a kid. It's a boogeyman that wears the face of a waning villain from the first phase of the MCU, latching desperately onto the member berries that brought fans in for the long haul in the first place, and fails miserably, resulting in an everlasting, deeply rooted hatred for true MCU fans, and wielding a sinister cinematic agenda that ultimately disappoints with meaningless filler, unnecessary character assassinations, and a ridiculous plot about snatching a future bad guy from the 1800s so that they can fix a time loop. If it isn't bad enough that this ripoff of Rian Johnson's Looper is poorly made, poorly paced, and more concerned with pushing a DEI agenda, then add on the fact that the actors in these roles have an even harder time selling you the idea. These people look like outright zombies on set who feel disinterested in telling Disney's story. Loki is no longer the man he used to be, as the days of outwitting and easily defeating extremely powerful superheroes are eons behind him, and the only thing he looks forward to now is helping his partner deal with stress and anxiety, or is often way too busy being screamed at by a far superior female version of himself who pops in here and there to remind Loki whose show this really is whenever he starts to feel even slightly manly or helpful. Owen Wilson's Mobius gets a similar treatment as well. The first season was proof enough that he was wasted in this role as the guy that Loki bounces ideas off of, and that point stands even stronger now than ever before. I never thought I'd get tired of Owen Wilson being himself, but there's a first time for everything, and Mobius is a boring, depressing character. He only ever likes to eat key lime pie, complain at Loki for being too Loki, even though I don't think he's Loki enough, and he just looks so miserable and confused all the time. He and Loki are also used constantly as emotional and sometimes physical punching bags for the real heroes of the show, the women. It's easy to forget sometimes that this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in this universe, the women are the alphas, not the men, and the show beats you over the head with that idea over and over and over again. If it isn't somehow men's fault for literally everything bad that happens in this show, you can bet on the females putting them down even when they do something right, the girl boss card. And you'll see this belittle the men to empower the women schlock coming from a mile away every time, and this pandering strategy more often than not manages to overshadow the story of the show itself, and that's a truly horrifying sight to behold. It has become increasingly clear over the years that Disney has no idea how to write a strong, independent woman. No matter how many times they try to do it, they just can't seem to get it right, and they usually, if not always, write the male characters to be incompetent morons who approach every conversation with aggression, say nothing or immediately apologize and cower in fear when the women verbally abuse them, and at the same time give those same ankle biters the very last word, action, and even victory in every situation, because this is the only way in the showrunner's point of view of how a strong woman should be depicted, in stark contrast to a man at his absolute worst. Loki is a horrifying cinematic experience that pushes the boundaries of mediocrity to new lows, and stretches even farther still by seizing each and every opportunity it finds to be as stupidly written as it possibly can, or shove a woke message in your face, or sometimes both. Their idea of fun is having you watch several hours of people slow walking in space, people walking and talking, people running through alleyways and crowds, and people slow walking on the same bridge in space again in a later episode. Filler doesn't even begin to describe how jarringly obvious this form of killing time really is. It's remarkable to see Disney's desperate attempts to breathe life into this dumpster fire fall so short, especially considering how talented of a cast they had. But even Jonathan Majors, who has an otherwise thriving acting career with many highlights for his great performances, is not free from criticism here. I suppose it's not entirely his fault that the role he played in this show was horrid, but Victor Timely, aka Future King, is a wet dream for idiots. Jonathan, my guy, you have some splaining to do. Come on, this is the guy that eventually takes over the multiverse and kills the Avengers thousands of times? This guy's putting me to sleep. Shh. Victor treats time like it's the Force or something, and you can be one with it? Get out of here. Hey, you want to shut up before I pound you into the dirt? This King variant also talks like he's in a cartoon or something. His accent makes absolutely no sense. Like, really, what is he doing? What is the actual logical reason for this personality decision, Marvel, other than to annoy the people watching? And what of Jonathan? He couldn't have asked for a single extra take to try and bring it home? No second thoughts when he read the script, or recited the lines, or saw playbacks of the footage? Never crossed his mind to, I don't know, question where the show might be going? Hello? I need a second opinion. Oh, I know, let's ask the audience how they're doing. Oh man, oh no, oh gosh. Right. This scene happened, I totally forgot. A bunch of people get ice cubed and crushed together because they want nothing to do with girl boss Renslayer, who has gone into a psychopathic feminist rage. And X5, a rogue agent who became one big Mr. Grumpy Pants, is forced to watch them slowly die. It's a bit gnarly, and I guess under better circumstances, this scene would actually be pretty impactful, but the way it's handled here is a bit comical. It's also a bit gross and makes the show look more depraved than anything. People on social media love to point out the ice cubing scene or Miss Minutes becoming Miss Mannequin scene as the highlights of spooky season, since Miss Minutes smiles all evil as the people are dying. Oh, she's so terrible. She's worse than Thanos, worse than Loki. Marvel really pulled out all the stops. So she smiles at people dying. Big whoop! A kid could write that. Oh wow, she's smiling. She's so crazy. Thanos better watch out. Get real. This is how seriously deprived of decent television our society is. And secondly, dude, she's a clock. A cartoon clock that does nothing but watch people. No pun intended. She literally does nothing but observe and react in both seasons. Why she was able to land a one-night stand with King the Conqueror, how would you even accomplish that by the way, is something I will never understand. But even if I did, the fact that she and Renslayer were hyped up as interesting, ambiguous characters, only to be made into timely simps for the majority of season 2 before being vaporized without even so much as a goodbye, shows that these people at Disney just do not know what they're doing at all. I mean, imagine creating a fully animated cartoon clock character and doing nothing with her for 2 seasons, and then kill her after she shoots her shot with Kang and fails. That has to be peak Marvel right there. So empowering. I mentioned before that the super team Loki fart was the tip top, but no, I was wrong. Miss Minutes takes the cake. You know, if there is any iota of grace I can provide this dying season, it's the fact that it kills a bunch of people in episode 4, including Miss Minutes and Renslayer. Perhaps that's the silver lining in this cesspool of misogyny, because those 2 girl bosses were insanely annoying. Their very existence, while intriguing at first, proves later on to be fruitless as the writers take these 2 characters way off the rails. But worry not. These ladies don't go out before getting something super important and historical off their chests first. Yeah, I think I'm starting to finally understand why the Loki director got the job for Doctor Who after this. Seems fitting. It just never ends. This show gets ruined, and then the same people who ruined it get to go to another show to ruin that one too. Such is life. But it's also hilarious that these women in the show, and Victor Timely himself, all died, because now the ones left to carry the show are the only 2 men that the showrunners have been trying to hide all season. Loki and Mobius, and what good are they? If Sylvie shows up and points out a mistake they made, they'll just walk away hanging their heads in shame and sulk about their toxic masculinity being their downfall. Seriously, what are they gonna do? Cry at the bad guys? This show just keeps getting better and better. Meow, 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 meow. You could have fixed who? Miss Minutes? Are you still on about that while the rest of us have moved on? Did you not just hear anything I said about what she did when those people were dying? I can't believe what I'm hearing. Your taste in women is truly strange. Besides, Disney has been injecting its well-established characters with confusing narratives since shows like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier made their debut. But it's also been present in a good chunk of their film box office hits as well, like Ant-Man 3 and Shang-Chi, with the Marvels set to be their woke swan song that brings the ladies together for one final hurrah before Disney financially implodes. And it seems that Loki is taking on a similar form. fulfilling its master's ultimate desire, but it's also eating itself the longer it airs, a certain loss for both sides. These next 2 episodes are gonna be the best of the season. You just wait and see. That's great. So why couldn't you just give us your best from the get-go? Why is it that in order to get to the good stuff, I have to sit through a 4-hour-long women's seminar first? A series can't be 80% fresh excrement and then be automatically redeemed because the last 20% is a chocolate cake. That's the problem that many people have with the formula, yet Marvel to this day seems unable to grasp it, which is a shame for them because I have no intention of finishing the final 2 episodes. I really tried, but the show dragged way too much and it had me falling asleep and drooling on Plato's fur coat, which by the way he has yet to forgive me for, and honestly, I have much bigger things on my mind lately. I've been enduring terrible television for several years now, most of which has come from Disney, and it really does take its toll after a while. I'm so tired of seeing this stuff constantly. It's everywhere. Bad writing, bad direction, woke agendas, DEI policies, it all gets worse every week, and now it's become a rampant problem in gaming as well. There's simply no escape from the mainstream nonsense, and it seems that the only option for quality is independent creation. Mainstream Marvel has made it very clear that this is the kind of thing that they want the current generation to watch. So what am I going to do? Am I really going to sit back and wait for Disney to set things right when so much damage has been done already? Opportunity is a window that slowly closes. Am I really going to sit back and allow more corporate jargon to leak into my life over the slightest chance that I spot a glimpse of the greatness that Marvel once was? No. Someone has to do something. I have to do something. But what? Will anything I do even matter in the end? And am I too late? What if I regret it? And what if all of this is a meaningless lie? And all that awaits us at the end of the road is... okay. Oh, well, Plato, a couple things I learned tonight. Sugar before bed? Terrible idea. And secondly, so is constantly searching for positives in something that's designed to overflow with negativity. Wow. But the good news is that because of that, I'm feeling pretty nostalgic. So what do you say we head to the 76th floor, dust off that old prototype, and let's take it out for some fresh air? We'll be perfectly safe. Meow. Of course not. What's the worst that could happen? Alright, that was really, really awesome. Meow. Okay, Plato, it's time to buckle up. Get ready. This is the match that will light the fuse! It's the only way! Plus, if you don't push the button, bad things are gonna happen to us, including, but not limited to, it blowing us right up! Meow? Press the button, Plato! Press the button! Whoa! He pressed the button!